James Nathaniel Brown, who is more popularly known as Jim Brown, was not only a remarkable and legendary NFL player, he was an outstanding civil rights activist too. However, due to his crimes, he tarnished his reputation and popularity. Brown was born to Swinton Brown, a professional boxer, and his wife, Teresa, in St. Simons Island, Georgia. His struggles began when he was a child, as his father abandoned the family when he was just 2 weeks old. If this wasn't traumatizing enough, his mother soon departed from his life as well, taking a job as a maid in Manhasset, New York, and leaving the care of her young son in the hands of Brown's great-grandmother. Brown was 8 years old when he finally went to New York to live with his mother. This is when he finally started thriving. He attended Manhasset Secondary School and excelled at playing football, lacrosse, baseball, and basketball. His college life was filled with hardships because of racial discrimination. He attended Syracuse University and was the only African-American player on the football team as a freshman in 1953. He endured racist taunts while he was at Syracuse. He was treated differently from his teammates. He was housed in a non-athlete dormitory, warned against dating Caucasian women, and the coaching staff attempted to put him at other positions, including punter, lineman, and wide receiver. As a sophomore at Syracuse, Brown was the second leading rusher on the team. As a junior, he rushed for 676 yards, 5.2 per carry. In his senior year in 1956, Brown was a consensus first-team All-American. He finished 5th in the Heisman Trophy voting and set school records for the highest season rush average and most rushing touchdowns in a single game. He ran for 986 yards, third most in the country despite Syracuse playing only 8 games, and scored 14 touchdowns. In the regular season finale, a 61-7 rout of Colgate, he rushed for 197 yards, scored 6 touchdowns, and kicked 7 extra points for a school record, 43 points. Then, in the Cotton Bowl, he rushed for 132 yards, scored 3 touchdowns, and kicked 3 extra points. But a blocked extra point after Syracuse's third touchdown was the difference as TCU won 28-27. In addition to his football accomplishments, he excelled in basketball, track, and especially lacrosse. As a sophomore, he was the second leading scorer for the basketball team and earned a letter on the track team. In 1955, he finished in 5th place in the national championship decathlon. His junior year, he averaged 11.3 points in basketball and was named a second-team All-American in lacrosse. His senior year, he was named a first-team All-American in lacrosse. He is in the Lacrosse Hall of Fame. The JMA Wireless Dome has an 800-square-foot tapestry depicting Brown in football and lacrosse uniforms with the words, "Greatest Player Ever." While in college, Brown participated in the Reserve Officers Training Corps. After graduating, he was commissioned as a second lieutenant. During his time in the NFL, Brown continued his military commitment as a member of the United States Army Reserve. He served for 4 years and was discharged with the rank of captain. Then began the journey of an extraordinary career. Brown was taken in the first round of the 1957 NFL Draft by the Cleveland Browns. In the 9th game of his rookie season, against the Los Angeles Rams, he rushed for 237 yards, setting an NFL single-game record that stood unsurpassed for 14 years, and a rookie record that remained for 40 years. Brown broke the single-season rushing record in 1958, gaining 1,527 yards in the 12-game season, shattering the previous NFL mark of 1,146 yards set by Steve Van Buren in 1949, as well as most rushing yards per game in a season, with 127.3. In this MVP season, Brown led all players with a staggering 17 touchdowns scored, beating his nearest rival, Baltimore Colts wide receiver Raymond Berry. After 9 years in the NFL, he departed as the league's record holder for both single-season and career rushing, as well as the all-time leader in rushing touchdowns, total touchdowns, and all-purpose yards. He was the first player to reach the 100 rushing touchdowns milestone, and only a few others have done so since. Brown holds the record for total seasons leading the NFL in all-purpose yards, and is the only rusher in NFL history to average over 100 yards per game for a career. In addition to his rushing, Brown was a superb receiver out of the backfield. catching 262 passes for 2,499 yards and 20 touchdowns, while also adding another 628 yards returning kickoffs. In every season he played, Brown was voted into the Pro Bowl, and he left the league in style by scoring 3 touchdowns in his final Pro Bowl game. Brown's 1,863 rushing yards in the 1963 season remains a Cleveland franchise record. It is currently the oldest franchise record for rushing yards out of all 32 NFL teams. His average of 133 yards per game that season is exceeded only by O.J. Simpson's 1973 season. Brown led the league in rushing a record 8 times. He was also the first NFL player to rush for over 10,000 yards. He was very difficult to tackle, often requiring more than one defender to bring him down. Brown was famous for his stiff arm and combined speed, power, and relentless endurance as a rusher. After winning his 3rd league MVP award in 1965, Brown retired in July 1966 at age 30 while still in top form. He was in England for the shooting of the movie The Dirty Dozen. He had expected to return to the Browns afterwards, but retired when team owner Art Model threatened him with fines for missing training camp. Brown's memorable professional career led to his induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1971. His football accomplishments at Syracuse garnered him a berth in the College Football Hall of Fame in 1995. ESPN ranked Brown 4th among their 50 greatest athletes of the 20th century. The Sporting News selected him as the greatest football player of all time. His popularity at the time was at peak, and he appeared in many movies in order to help expand the range of roles available to black actors. Brown began his acting career before the 1964 season, playing a Buffalo Soldier in a Western action film called Rio Conchos. MGM cast Brown in his first lead role in The Split, based on a Parker novel by Donald E. Westlake. He was paid $125,000 for the role. Brown followed it with Riot, a prison film for MGM. Both it and The Split were solid hits at the box office. In addition to his NFL career, his work as a civil rights activist was also very exceptional. Brown was one of the few athletes to speak out on racial issues in the 1950s as the civil rights movement was growing. He was one of the most prominent African-American athletes to engage in civil rights activism, and he called on other African-American athletes to become involved in similar initiatives off the field. In 1967, Brown, alongside Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Carl Stokes, were all members of the Cleveland Summit, a meeting with Muhammad Ali held with the intention of convincing the four to rally behind and recruit others to help Ali's cause of civil rights in the United States. The Cleveland Summit was later called a significant turning point for the role of the athlete in society and one of the most important civil rights acts in sports history. In 1966, Brown founded the Negro Industrial Economic Union, later known as the Black Economic Union, to help promote economic opportunities for minority-owned businesses. The BEU secured loans and grants to support community initiatives related to food, medicines, and farm and economic ventures. Moreover, in 1988, Brown founded the Amr I Can Foundation, an organization that sought to divert gang members and prisoners from violence by teaching them life skills. Perceiving Brown and other outspoken African-American athletes as a threat, the Federal Bureau of Investigation monitored Brown and his organizations. Files declassified in 2003 showed that the FBI, the United States Secret Service, and several police departments had monitored Brown and the Black Economic Union, attempting to smear the group as a source of communist and radical Muslim extremism, and collecting information to damage Brown's reputation. This was his good and ideal side. Moving on to his criminal side, Brown was arrested at least 7 times for assault, mainly against women. In 1965, Brown was arrested in his hotel room for assault and battery against 18-year-old Brenda Ayers. He was later acquitted of those charges. A year later, he fought paternity allegations that he fathered her child. In 1968, Brown was charged with assault, with intent to commit murder, after model Ava Bon-Chin was found beneath the balcony of Brown's second-floor apartment. The charges were later dismissed after Bon-Chin refused to cooperate with the prosecutor's office. Brown was also ordered to pay a $300 fine for striking a deputy sheriff involved in the investigation during the incident. In Brown's autobiography, he stated that Bone Chin was angry and jealous over an affair he had been having with Gloria Steinem, and this argument is what led to the misunderstanding with the police. In 1975, Brown was convicted of misdemeanor battery for beating and choking his golfing partner, Frank Snow. He was sentenced to 1 day in jail, 2 years probation, and a fine of $500. In 1985, Brown was charged with raping a 33-year-old woman. The charges were later dismissed. In 1986, he was arrested for assaulting his fiancée, Deborah Clark. According to several victims and witnesses, who were interviewed for the 2022 documentary series Secrets of Playboy, Brown brutally raped and assaulted numerous women at the Playboy Mansion. These alleged incidents occurred from the late 1970s into the 1990s. In 1999, Brown was arrested and charged with making terroristic threats toward his wife, Monique. Later that year, he was found guilty of vandalism for smashing her car with a shovel. He was sentenced to 3 years probation, 1 year of domestic violence counseling, and 400 hours of community service, or 40 hours on a work crew, along with a $1,800 fine. Brown ignored the terms of his sentence, and in 2000 was sentenced to 6 months in jail, which he began serving in 2002 after refusing the court-ordered counseling and community service. Brown died of natural causes at the age of 87 on May 18, 2023, at his home in Los Angeles. He died with his wife by his side. His career was undeniably one of the greatest the NFL has ever seen. However, observing his life, one can learn that no one is flawless and pure. We all have our flaws, but it is vital that we learn from them and improve ourselves. For more inspirational videos, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching. We hope to see you soon. Darren Sharper is a figure who intrigues both NFL fans and true crime enthusiasts. He had an impressive 14-season career in the NFL, but his story takes a dark turn as he is also a convicted serial rapist. Darren Sharper was born on November 3, 1975, in Richmond, Virginia. He went to Hermitage High School in Henrico County, Virginia, where he played varsity football and basketball. He made the honor roll, had perfect attendance for 3 of his 4 years, and was active in the Foreign Language Club and Student Council. Hermitage High School honored him with a spot on their Wall of Fame. Sharper graduated in 1993. However, after the rape allegations against him were confirmed, Hermitage removed all his memorabilia from the school. Darren Sharper went to the College of William and Mary, where he played football for the William and Mary tribe. In high school, he mainly played as a quarterback and wanted to continue in that position in college. However, the college coach, Jimmy Laycock, suggested he might have a future in the NFL as a defensive back instead. During his college years, Sharper earned All-America honors twice and was named to the first-team All-Yankee Conference 3 times. As a senior in 1996, he was the Yankee Conference Defensive Player of the Year after intercepting 10 passes in 1 season. He finished his college career with a school record of 24 career interceptions and an IAA record of 468 career interception return yards. He also set the school record with 1,027 career punt return yards. The Green Bay Packers picked Darren Sharper in the 2nd round, 60th overall, of the 1997 NFL Draft. He was the 5th safety chosen that year, and his brother, Jamie Sharper, was also picked in the 2nd round, 34th overall. In training camp, Sharper competed with veteran Eugene Robinson for the starting free safety spot. Head coach Mike Holmgren named Sharper the backup free safety behind Robinson for the regular season. Sharper made his NFL debut in the Packers' season-opening 38-24 win against the Chicago Bears. On September 21, 1997, he made his first tackle in a 38-32 win against the Minnesota Vikings in Week 4. On November 2, 1997, he made 1 tackle and returned his first career interception for a touchdown in a 2010 loss to the Detroit Lions. He intercepted a pass by Lions quarterback Scott Mitchell and returned it 50 yards for a touchdown. In Week 13, Sharper made a season-high 2 tackles and returned a fumble for a 34-yard touchdown in a 45-17 win against the Dallas Cowboys. On December 30th, 1997, he made 2 tackles, forced a fumble, and returned an interception for a 20-yard touchdown in the Packers' 31-21 win against the Buffalo Bills in Week 17. This gave him 3 defensive touchdowns for the season, breaking the Packers' rookie record for most defensive touchdowns, which had stood for 64 years. He tied the franchise record for most defensive touchdowns set by Herb Adderley in 1964. Sharper finished his rookie season with 3 defensive touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a fumble recovery in 14 games without any starts. The Packers finished first in the NFC Central with a 13-3 record, earning a first-round bye. On January 4, 1998, Sharper played in his first playoff game, recording 3 tackles in the Packers' 21-7 win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC Divisional Round. The Packers advanced to Super Bowl XXII after defeating the San Francisco 49ers 23-10 in the NFC Championship game. On January 25, 1998, Sharper played in Super Bowl XXII, where the Packers lost to the Denver Broncos 31-24, failing to repeat as Super Bowl champions. In 1998, Darren Sharper started as the Green Bay Packers free safety. He made his first career start in the season opener, recording 3 tackles. On October 15th, he had a season-high 10 tackles in a loss to the Detroit Lions. He started all 16 games, making 73 tackles. The Packers finished 11-5, earning a playoff spot. In his first playoff start, Sharper made 4 tackles, a sack, a forced fumble, and an interception in a win against the 49ers. Sharper and Leroy Butler continued as the starting safeties. Sharper recorded 11 tackles and his first career sack in a loss to the Cowboys. He finished the season with a career-high 113 tackles and 3 interceptions. The Packers did not make the playoffs, leading to Rhodes being fired and replaced by Mike Sherman in 2000. Under new defensive coordinator Ed Donatell, Sharper had 10 tackles and 2 interceptions in a win against the Cardinals. He ended the season with 92 tackles and led the league with 9 interceptions, earning his first Pro Bowl selection. In 2001, Sharper signed a 6-year, $30 million contract with the Packers. He continued to start alongside Butler, making 4 tackles and 2 interceptions in the season opener. He finished the season with 94 tackles, 6 interceptions, and 2 sacks. The Packers made the playoffs but lost in the NFC Divisional Round. He finished the season with 68 tackles and 7 interceptions, earning another Pro Bowl selection. In 2003, Sharper started with Antoine Edwards at strong safety. He had a season-high 9 tackles against the Cardinals and recorded 2 sacks in a win over the Bears. He finished with 82 tackles, 5 interceptions, and 2 sacks. The Packers made the playoffs but lost in the NFC Divisional Round. In 2004, the Green Bay Packers fired defensive coordinator Ed Donatell after the defense ranked 17th and struggled in the playoffs. Bob Slowick was promoted to replace him. Sharper remained the starting free safety, paired with Mark Roman. Sharper had a season-high 9 tackles in a Week 3 loss to the Colts and returned an interception for a touchdown against the Lions. He missed 1 game due to a shin injury, but finished the season with 70 tackles, 4 interceptions, and 3 defensive touchdowns, tying a franchise record he set as a rookie. In 2005, Jim Bates became the new defensive coordinator, and the Packers released Sharper to save salary cap space. He left the Packers with 36 interceptions, 616 tackles, and 7 defensive touchdowns. Sharper then signed a 4-year contract with the Minnesota Vikings. He started the season strong, returning an interception for a touchdown in the opener. He had a career-high 3 interceptions in a game against the Giants and finished the season with 51 tackles and 9 interceptions, earning a Pro Bowl selection. In 2006, Brad Childress became the Vikings head coach, and Sharper moved to strong safety under defensive coordinator Mike Tomlin. He played all 16 games, recording 67 tackles and 4 interceptions. In 2007, Leslie Frazier took over as defensive coordinator, and Sharper continued to excel, reaching 50 career interceptions. He finished the season with 63 tackles and 4 interceptions, earning another Pro Bowl selection. In 2008, Sharper started every game, making 69 tackles and 1 interception. He left the Vikings with 18 interceptions, 250 tackles, and 3 touchdowns. In 2009, Sharper signed a 1-year deal with the New Orleans Saints and had an outstanding season, setting a record for interception return yards and earning a Pro Bowl selection. In 2010, Sharper had knee surgery and missed several games. He finished the season with 16 tackles. After considering other teams, Sharper retired, ending his 14-year career with 63 interceptions, 11 interception return touchdowns, and 13 total defensive touchdowns, tying the NFL record. On March 18, 2011, 2 women from the University of Georgia filed a complaint with the Miami Beach police, claiming they were possibly sexually assaulted at Darren Sharper's condo. They had gone to his condo with a friend, nightclub promoter Huáscar Payano, and passed out on Sharper's couch. One woman woke up to a man trying to put his penis in her mouth and later found a man lifting her dress. Both women discovered their underwear was missing and were taken to the hospital for rape examinations. However, the police closed the case 5 days later without sending the rape kits for detailed examination, speaking to Sharper, or visiting his condo. On February 2, 2013, Sharper was accused of helping drug a woman at a pre-Super Bowl party in New Orleans, leading to her being raped by his friend Brandon Licciardi. On August 31, 2013, he was accused of raping a woman in New Orleans. On September 23, 2013, Sharper and his accomplice Eric Nunez were accused of drugging and raping 2 women in New Orleans. On October 30, 2013, Sharper was accused of drugging 2 women in Los Angeles and raping one of them after meeting them at a nightclub and bringing them to his hotel room. On November 20, 2013, after meeting 3 female students from Arizona State University in Tempe, Sharper was accused of drugging and raping 2 of them. On January 14, 2014, Sharper was accused of drugging and raping 1 of 2 women he met in West Hollywood nightclubs and took to his hotel room. The next day, January 15, 2014, he was accused of drugging 2 women and a man he met in a Las Vegas nightclub, then sexually assaulting the women. On May 29, 2015, Darren Sharper pleaded guilty in federal court to charges of conspiracy to distribute drugs like Xanax, Valium, and Ambien with the intent to commit rape, and 2 counts of distributing these drugs with the intent to commit rape. He agreed to a 9-year prison sentence as part of a plea deal. However, on February 18, 2016, U.S. District Judge Jane Trichet-Malazzo rejected the deal, noting that a federal pre-sentence report suggested a sentence of 15-20 years. On March 22, 2016, a new plea deal fitting this range was approved by the judge. On August 18, 2016, Sharper was sentenced to 18 years and 4 months in prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release and fined $20,000. The next week, a Louisiana state judge sentenced him to 20 years in prison for 3 counts of rape. All sentences will run at the same time, and time served will count towards all charges in every state simultaneously. After release, Sharper must register as a sex offender and follow a sex treatment condition as part of his 3-year supervision. There are records of 9 victims nationwide, but the judge indicated there could be as many as 16. Sharper is serving his time at FCI Miami with the identification number 34209-034 and is scheduled for release in late 2028. That was indeed a wild journey, from being a popular NFL player to becoming one of the nation's most hated criminals. With that being said, we have reached the end of the video. Make sure to subscribe to get more such videos on your feed. Also, since your opinion is valuable to us, drop a comment telling us who you want us to cover next. Nathaniel Newton, formerly known as Nate Newton, was one of the best guards in the NFL for over a decade. However, his involvement in criminal wrongdoing not only stripped him of his renown, but also resulted in his confinement behind bars. Newton's high school journey unfolded at Jones High School, where he showcased his athletic prowess across multiple sports, including football, basketball, wrestling, and shot put. Initially, he thrived as a fullback in football until his junior year, and then transitioned to the defensive line. Despite attracting interest from Division I colleges, Newton opted to stay close to home, securing a football scholarship at Florida A&M University. During his sophomore year, he exhibited versatility by contributing to both offensive and defensive lines. Subsequently, he found his niche on the offensive side, where he remained throughout his junior year. By his senior year, Newton's dedication and skill were recognized with all MAC accolades for his standout performance at right tackle. Despite being chosen by the Tampa Bay Bandits in the 1983 USFL Territorial Draft, he decided to pursue a different path, opting to join the Washington Redskins as an undrafted free agent in May. Unfortunately, his time with the Redskins was short-lived, as he was released on August 29, 1983. Tragically, on the very night he was let go from the team, he was involved in a severe car accident, resulting in significant injuries. In February of 1984, he inked a deal with the Tampa Bay Bandits of the now-defunct United States Football League. This move came after the Bandits had initially drafted him in 1983 through what was known as a territorial draft by the USFL. Taking to the field as an offensive tackle, he spent 2 seasons, from 1984 to 1985, with the Bandits, working under the guidance of head coach Steve Spurrier. In the year 1986, following the closure of the USFL, Newton seized the opportunity to join the Dallas Cowboys as a free agent. Initially, he began his Cowboys tenure as a backup offensive lineman, earning himself the playful nickname, The Kitchen, due to his imposing size, even surpassing the legendary William the Refrigerator Perry of the Chicago Bears. Despite eventually ascending to the role of starting left guard in 1987, Newton encountered difficulties in maintaining his optimal playing weight, jeopardizing his position on the team. It wasn't until Jimmy Johnson assumed the role of Cowboys coach in 1989 that significant changes occurred. Johnson, noticing Newton's struggle, took action by transitioning him to the starting right tackle position and motivating him to improve his physical condition, even resorting to a running race in which Johnson emerged victorious, serving as a wake-up call for Newton to prioritize fitness. In the year 1992, due to the stellar performance of Eric Williams, there was a reshuffle, and Newton found himself shifted back to the left guard position. This adjustment aimed to optimize the team's offensive line configuration by ensuring the best player combination. Newton's remarkable achievements include being selected to the Pro Bowl 6 times, consecutively from 1992 to 1996, and once more in 1998. Within the Cowboys' offensive line, only Larry Allen has surpassed his Pro Bowl appearances with a total of 10. Newton shares the record of 6 Pro Bowl appearances with Rayfield Wright and John Nealand. However, despite his impressive tenure, the Cowboys opted not to renew his contract after the conclusion of the 1998 season. Newton's contributions were pivotal in the Dallas Cowboys' success, particularly in their Super Bowl triumphs in 1992, 1993, and 1995. His proficiency in safeguarding quarterback Troy Aikman and clearing paths for running back Emmitt Smith solidified his reputation as one of the premier guards in the NFL for more than 10 years. Renowned for his formidable strength, Newton engaged in memorable battles against formidable opponents like Reggie White, and other esteemed players. Despite his role in the demanding trenches, Newton stood out as one of the most vibrant personalities in Cowboys history. On June 16, 1999, Newton embarked on a new chapter in his career by joining the Carolina Panthers as a free agent. During his time with the Panthers, he primarily served as a backup guard, participating in 7 games. Unfortunately, his season was cut short when he suffered a torn right triceps tendon, leading to his placement on the injured reserve list on December 14th. Following the conclusion of the season, Newton did not receive a contract renewal from the Panthers. In recognition of his outstanding athletic achievements, Newton was honored with induction into the Florida A&M University Sports Hall of Fame in 1994. Additionally, his remarkable contributions to the sport were further celebrated when he was inducted into the prestigious Black College Football Hall of Fame in 2022. Now, speaking of his ominous crimes, on March 21, 1991, Newton faced legal trouble when he was apprehended at an illicit dogfight, an event in which he played a significant role. It was revealed that he possessed a total of 14 pit bulls, indicating his involvement in the activity. On November 4, 2001, authorities in St. Martin Parish, Louisiana, took Newton into custody following a traffic stop involving his white van. During the inspection, law enforcement discovered a staggering 213 pounds of marijuana in his possession, leading to his arrest. Just 5 weeks after the previous incident, on December 12, 2001, Newton encountered another arrest in Texas. Authorities stopped him and subsequently found 175 pounds of marijuana during a search of his vehicle. As a result of this discovery, he faced charges for drug trafficking. Following legal proceedings, Newton was convicted and received a 30-month prison sentence in a federal facility. Reports suggest that Newton has made a sincere effort to change his ways, denouncing his previous actions and embarking on a journey to lead a more positive life. In his quest for redemption, he has taken the opportunity to address young athletes, sharing his own experiences and offering guidance to inspire them toward better choices and paths. Newton has expanded his involvement in media by participating in radio broadcasts with Kesson in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Additionally, he regularly contributes to numerous podcasts, aired on DallasCowboys.com, further extending his reach and influence in the realm of sports commentary and analysis. On podcasts, Newton typically discusses topics related to football, particularly focusing on insights, analysis, and commentary about the Dallas Cowboys, given his extensive experience with the team. He might also share personal anecdotes, stories from his playing days, and perspectives on current events in the NFL. Additionally, he gets into broader sports topics, offers advice for aspiring athletes, and discusses his journey of personal growth and redemption. Newton has also become part of the North Dallas Community Bible Church, where he actively engages in religious activities and community events. Ultimately, as humans, we're bound to make mistakes. But do these errors define who we are? Absolutely not, especially if we learn from them and strive to become better individuals. While Newton may have faced his own share of missteps, what truly matters is his journey of growth and redemption. By acknowledging his past mistakes and actively working towards self-improvement, he exemplifies the capacity for positive change. His story serves as a reminder that it's never too late to turn things around and make a positive impact on those around us. Well, this brings us to the end of this video, and at this point, make sure you have subscribed, and if you still haven't, I shall wait till you do so. Do comment telling us who you want us to cover next. See you next time. Bye.